What's going on, guys? Welcome to week number 13 of our NCAA football all Teambuilder Dynasty. And this one we got a little Florida rivalry as Fort Lauderdale comes to Daytona in rainy Daytona to take on Daytona State at home. Check out the American South standings there. You guys can see it. First place and second place, Georgia A&M and Greenville are tied in conference record and overall record. So 3, 4, 5, 6, they don't really have much of a chance to take over the conference. So especially since Georgia A&M and Greenville play in the last week of the season. So Daytona State just looking to win this football game to really make their stamp and leave their mark on the recruiting in Florida. This is a big game for both teams, actually, but more so for Daytona State because, well, Fort Lauderdale doesn't really need any help. You know, they got some pretty solid players all over the place. Lots of playing time to be had at Daytona State for sure, especially on the offensive line, as we see Ty Morrow getting sacked there by Montel Tibbins. He's going to set up the Golden Jackals at 2nd and 18, and look at Claiborne with the little shake and bake, little jukey moves there. Got 98 catches for 1,500 yards, guys, and 12 touchdowns. He's just been nuts. Not even in the Heisman race. I mean, it's, you know, it's mostly because the team is not contending for anything, so I can see why that is the case. But not a good pass there on the next play. As you guys can see that there, Ty Morrow makes a bad throw for the first interception of the game. Edwin Vasquez is going to make that interception look easy. Look at that. It just threw it right to him. It was just not a very good throw by Ty Morrow. He had the Y receiver, he had the A receiver. There are a lot of people open, but just didn't make a good throw. Terrence Livingston going to get in on the action here as Fernandez finds him for a big gain. He's going to find him again there down the sideline for 16 yards. Little play action pass there, and look at Livingston out of the backfield. He's going to get 10 yards again. So it's been first down after first down after first down for Terrence Livingston. And then look at Leon Roberson. That guy's a touchdown machine. Going to get in for a 20-yard touchdown. 4 for 4 for Dylan Fernandez on that drive for 75 yards. I mean, that's 3/4 of the field. He just drove down there and got a score, an easy score. And Daytona State finds themselves down 7-0 early on in the game. Claiborne got to be the man here for us as Dylan Fernandez looks like he's going to just wreck Daytona State's defense. Big reception there for 34 yards. Ty Morrow actually has 52 yards passing, so he's leaning on Claiborne pretty hard right now. It's going to force a 4th and 5 after that incompletion, guys, and Garza's going to come on out, try to attempt a long field goal, and it's not going to work. Good effort nonetheless. We'll give him that. Good effort nonetheless, but he normally doesn't miss. Curtis Newell, good effort there. Also good effort, but just unable to come through on that interception attempt. He's normally a wide receiver. You got to make that catch if you're a wide receiver. Falk missed the tackle here, forces Francis to try to come over across the field to make that tackle. So, I mean, they're starting to struggle a little bit here. Fernandez scrambles to the right. He only gets 2 yards, so that's a good stop by Hemphill and the Golden Jackals defense to force him to feel some pressure, to try to get him to run the football on a shortened field. So good job there. 3rd and goal now. Got to get some points up on the board for Fort Lauderdale, and it's going to be intercepted by Lowry. So instead of getting at least 3 points, they're going to get nothing. So the interception that should have been for Newell, Lowry picks up his teammate and makes that interception to stall the offense. So Ben Nichols gets a 20-yard catch here to give Daytona State some breathing room. That little screenplay here for Picoletti, but it's going to get snuffed and stuffed by Fort Lauderdale for a 6-yard loss. 2nd and 16 now. Morrow finds Claiborne for a big gain there. It's going to be 3rd and 5, and then Ty Morrow going to on the read option here. It's going to actually pick up 5 yards, but it's going to be 4th and inches now. So interesting call that Daytona State's going to try to go for this because, I mean, if you guys think about it, the game could get out of hand easily with Fort Lauderdale's offense. Good thing that they got it, though. Good thing that they converted with the fullback, John Elliott. 2nd and 6. Ty Morrow dropping back. He's got nothing open. He's starting to feel the pressure. He's going deep for Picoletti, but going to be incomplete. So Garth Nyland almost made that interception, but it would have been almost like a punt, I guess. It's still not a good throw to make. That's not a good throw to make either, but Claiborne, being the boss that he is, makes that catch. And then look at this throw. That's also not a good throw. It's Darius Barr. He gets credit with a tackle, but it was actually a deflection. So I'm not sure why the computer decided to give him that statistic, but nonetheless, Rush comes on out, gets a nice punt here, sets Fort Lauderdale up on the 2-yard line. So if Daytona State can bring some pressure, we might get into safety territory, but look at Logan Casanova. Just got blockers in front of him. Huge run there for 13 yards. It's going to get Fort Lauderdale some breathing room themselves. 1st and 10. And then look at Soto with a little juke, little move there, little hard cut. Jalen Soto is in the statistic book for 24 yards now. Dylan Fernandez dropping back, 3rd and 5. And look at Claude Silva. He could have made the tackle to stop the touchdown by who else? Terrence Livingston. The crazy thing, though, guys, is that Claude Silva could have at least tried to deflect that football or at least go up for the interception, and he did not. But doesn't matter, because Daytona State's going to respond here in a big way as Ben Nichols takes it to the house. Touchdown. Ty Morrow finds Ben Nichols. That's a huge play. After a fumble recovery off a kickoff, I like the Super Sim kickoffs, Daytona State's driving back down the football field near the end of the 2nd quarter, so we're starting to run out of time here. So the clock is ticking. I'm not sure why I didn't decide to call a timeout here, probably because I wanted to save it more past my own 50. But 2nd and 19, that Morrow took that sack, so not a good situation by Morrow, but he's going to find Claiborne for 21 yards. 3rd and 8 now. He's going to find Claiborne again, who makes a diving catch for 9 yards. So he's been huge on this drive. 23 seconds left, and he's going to take a sack. Got to call a timeout here. That's a sack for 9 yards. So it's going to push the Golden Jackals in a kind of a bad situation for field goal range, but he's going to pick up a good spot for a field goal here after a timeout. 3rd and 5. Ty Morrow dropping back. He's got Ben Nichols again, but he's going to get stopped at the 1. So no timeouts. Don't want to spike it and waste a down here. A pass play would almost certainly result in a sack, as he's taken 2 sacks thus far in this drive. 3 seconds now. They're going to go for the run as Worthington pounds it in for a touchdown. So gutsy call here. Gutsy call, but it's going to work. It's going to work. 14-14 in a rivalry game. This is the stuff that needs to happen for you to stay in these football games for sure. You could have probably kicked a field goal, but without any timeouts. You could have spiked it, right? Could have spiked it at the 1 and then kicked a field goal with like 8 seconds left. But with 8 seconds left, you might as well go for the tie because you're on the 1-yard line. There's a lot of scenarios that were running through my head on why I decided to do what I did. And if I had called a pass play, if Ty Morrow gets sacked, it's almost certainly we're gonna be left off the scoreboard. So, that was part of the reasoning here. Aquimo Hubbard gets in on the action for a 7-yard reception. So Fort Lauderdale unable to cash in to get a touchdown here, but they're going to call on the field goal team, and it looks like, he almost missed that one, but it's going to be 17-14 Fort Lauderdale, and look at that throw. You can't make that throw. Ty Morrow trying to feed Claiborne a little bit too hard there. It's going to force a punt, so Fernandez and Fort Lauderdale get the football back, but it's going to get sacked here. Dylan Fernandez goes down for 6 yards. It's going to be 3rd and 13 as they picked up 7 after that play. And then look at this play. Look at Chad Hudson just coming on over, making this interception. So huge play for Daytona State's defense here as they have forced now 3 turnovers, 2 interceptions off of Fernandez, and then that fumble recovery off that kickoff. Ty Morrow going to scramble here, and he's not going to get out of it as he's going to get sacked for 5 yards. Rush comes back out, and he's been key. He's been huge for Daytona State thus far in this game as he pins them back onto their own 9-yard line, guys. Fort Lauderdale starting to drive down the field here where they're at their own 20 now. And Fernandez feeling the heat. And look at Curtis Newell. He's going to get on the pick party. Interception, that's 3 now for Dylan Fernandez. So he almost had that one off Terrence Livingston earlier in the first half. He redeems himself by making that interception. And look at Morrow. Again, guys, making a terrible, terrible throw. That your defense came through for you with 2 interceptions, and you're going to go ahead and do that. You're going to go ahead and give them the football back. 3rd and 5 for Fort Lauderdale, and Jalen Soto is going to get 4. So good stop there. Good stop there by Daytona State. So the interception by Morrow isn't going to hurt that bad. Field goal attempt is up, and it is good. So it's going to be a 6-point football game, 20-14 Fort Lauderdale. So got 3:47 left to go in this game. If Daytona State can start running some clock, hold on to the football, and just get a touchdown, they will win this game. But first things first, you can't be taking sacks, Ty. 10-yard loss by Shelton Murray there on Ty Morrow. You just can't do that. 3rd and 20, finds Claiborne down the sideline. He's going to get 16 on the play, so it's going to be a 4th and 4. Got to go for it here as 2:22 in time is winding down. Going to find Vernon Callahan. That's a huge pass play there, huge catch. Gets the 1 foot in bounds. 1st and 10. Claiborne is found. Get a little spin move there, trying to make a play. 18-yard catch. So now we're talking. Now we're in business here, guys. 3rd and 11. Morrow dropping back. He's got Ben Nichols, and he's going to drop the football. He's going to drop the football, guys, with 46 seconds left. That's the win. Morrow, 4th and 11, and he finds Claiborne, but he's a yard short. They needed 11. He got 10. And Daytona State, guys, is going to lose this football game in heartbreaking fashion, as has been the case all season long. It's amazing that these guys keep fighting back week after week after week. They're just grinders, man. They keep coming to play every single week, but they're just not quite there yet. They need that big player and that big play on defense to keep them in games for sure. And they need Ty Morrow to get out of his freshman little zone here. And, maybe next year. Maybe next year they'll get older and more experienced, and we'll go from there. But so let's go into Georgia A&M and Kentucky Tech. You guys can see the offensive numbers there on the screen. We're actually showing the game of the week as the second game because there's some things to talk about within this game. And I'll get into the gameplay little highlights here in just a second, but I got to explain something real quick. Georgia A&M, you guys saw the standings in the Daytona State game. Georgia A&M and Greenville are tied in their division in the American South. They play each other in the last week of the season. So in order for GAMU to keep up with Greenville, GAMU's got to win this football game, right? Or else the last game of the year is going to force a tie, right? If GAMU wins, of course. But on the flip side, Kentucky Tech has to win this football game as well to keep up with Gallatin and the Drakes, Carolina Atlantic. So we see a huge pass play there to Michael Bingham for 26 yards and a touchdown. Guys, these guys, Currington and Bingham, have been like hooking up every single week. He's got like a 3-week touchdown streak. You guys can see Paxton Murphy. Look at those attempts, 65 attempts last week. 2nd and 5, Murphy is going to find Randolph on that play. But guys, like I was trying to say, this is a big game for GAMU as well as Kentucky Tech. So both teams really got to get a W here. So it's going to be a hard-fought battle for sure. Look at this play here. What do you know? The computer also gets stopped at the 1. It's not just the user on CPU. Barry Goodlow in there, 1 reception for 22 yards. I apologize that I missed some highlights, but we had some things to talk about, right? 1st and goal, Paxton Murphy drops back. He's got 4 receivers on the left. That's a touchdown to Brady Wheeler, but there's a flag on the play, and it's going to be illegal touching on, of course, the receiver, Brady Wheeler. So that stings a little bit, right? That stings just a little bit. It's going to be 2nd and goal now. But you got to have some faith here in Georgia A&M's offense, right? They don't care if it's 2nd and goal. They don't care if it's 3rd and 20. They're going to find a way to complete passes and make things happen. And they did here as Hank Carter gets in for a 6-yard touchdown. Not a guy that's used a whole often for Georgia A&M's offense. It's mostly been the tight end for Urson Bazaran. That's who they really like to use. But regardless, whoever's catching the football, whoever is contributing on the offensive side, they're going to take it. But that's not going to work. That offensive contribution from Paxton Murphy is not going to work as he throws another interception, guys. So he's had a problem all season long with interceptions. He's supposed to be better than this. I say it every video, but he's a 99 overall senior, and he's just making some weird throws. I don't know, uncharacteristically bad for Paxton Murphy. But that's the other thing. He's throwing for a ton of yards. He's leading the #1 passing offense, and yet he's throwing double-digit interceptions. Jacoby Currington also throwing a lot of interceptions as well. So maybe it's CPU versus CPU. Not sure. Maybe we'll have to try to tweak this for next season. But, you know, CPU throwing all these interceptions is not a good thing. Not a good thing. Not a real-world simulation by the looks of it. And then Paxton Murphy, you guys can see it again. Another interception. So he is distraught right now. You can see it on his face. He's just like, I don't know, man. It's like a Ben Roethlisberger. I don't know if I have it anymore. 3rd and 3. Currington is going to get a big run here up past the 50. Still a 7-7 game, and it's been an interception trade-off game thus far. Tayshawn Rivers on that wheel route is going to get a 19-yard reception there. 2nd and 10. Currington finds, I think that's Alvarez. Yes, it's Alvarez. Eric Alvarez for a 10-yard catch. Sets up 3rd and inches. Maybe run the football? Maybe run the football. I don't know. That's what I would do because Currington's throwing picks left and right. It's been a pick show. It's been an interception show. 3rd and inches, and they're actually going to elect to throw, and he's going to actually find Eric Alvarez. Gets out of bounds. Actually, that's Chris Drake. I get those guys confused. Chris Drake and Eric Alvarez. Alvarez is 84. Got to remember that. 2nd and goal. Currington gets sacked for 6-yard loss. Going to set up 3rd and goal. And Currington trying to not... he gets sacked again for 7 yards. That's DeJuan Stricker. He's already got... Well, that's his first tackle. Tackle for a loss and a sack on that play. 4th and goal. Now, got to kick the field goal. Got to kick the field goal. Go up 10-7. That's not... You know, you want more points against Georgia A&M, but you'll take the 3. Maybe Paxton Murphy will throw another interception here and get you back in it. But that's not going to happen. He comes back, and that's a fury throw. Murphy does this often, though, guys. He starts off really slow, and then he says, you know what? I'm just going to get myself out of my own slump and just start making plays. That's a huge throw. DeAnthony Bateman gets a 6-yard gain on that catch. It's going to be 4th and 1. The field goal is up and good. So it's now a tie football game here. We are in the middle of the 2nd quarter with 3:28 left to go. Currington dropping back. There's a flag on the field, I think, because it looks like they took it off. No, there is a flag on the field. And it's going to be actually offside, so the play will stand. The penalty will be declined as they will take the rushing yards instead of the penalty yardage. 2nd and 13, and looking deep, and he's got the receiver out there, but it's going to be incomplete. Did not get 1 foot in bounds, but it was a good throw by Currington. 3rd and 13, and he's going to get sacked again by who else? DeJuan Stricker. That's 2 sacks already on the game, and then kicker comes on for Kentucky Tech, and he's going to miss the field goal just a little bit low and left. So it's still 10-10 football game here, and Paxton Murphy looking deep, and he's going to get picked off again. Going to get picked off again, guys. It's 3 interceptions at the half. That's insane. That's insane. 3rd and 11, they call for the screen for Tayshawn Rivers. He gets 3 yards on the play. So after the punt, Georgia A&M gets the football back. There's no time left on the clock, and they fumble the football. Kentucky Tech recovers, but like I said, no time left. So Kentucky Tech can't even run a play to try to kick a field goal or take the lead or do anything. It's going to be 10-10 game at the half. So, yet again, guys, keeping up with the same old with Georgia A&M. Look at this, and another fumble by Paxton Murphy, but he's going to recover his own fumble. So, Kentucky Tech just not getting any breaks against Georgia A&M. They are the luckiest team in college football, for sure. So, Georgia A&M did not convert on that field goal attempt, and then Jacoby Currington and the Blue Bats are starting to drive down the field with some authority as Chris Drake catches that cannon of a pass by Currington. Currington dropping back here on 1st and 10, and he's got his receiver. That's Michael Bingham for a 6-yard catch down the sideline. It's going to be 2nd and 4. Going to be forced a 3rd and 7 now after a loss on the play by Tayshawn Rivers. And then a little flat route call there. I'm not sure what was going on, but Eric Alvarez makes that catch, but he's not going to get a first down. Kicker comes on out, gets the field goal, so Kentucky Tech takes the lead 13-10. Third quarter starting to wind down here, and look at Paxton Murphy looking deep. He was threw that ball off balance a little bit. 4th and 5 now, so going to force a field goal attempt, and the field goal is up a little bit low, but it's going to be good, and it's going to be tie ball game now, 13-13. Tayshawn Rivers gets the screen pass here, but it's going to be only good for 1 yard. It's going to force 4th and 10. And the field goal unit comes on out for a long field goal attempt. We got 6:20 left to go. The kick is up, and will it go through? It will not. It is short. So kicker misses yet again for Kentucky Tech, and then it's still a tie. It's still a tie ball game. Linkez Sales gets a 3-yard catch off the screen pass. No luck there for Georgia A&M, and then we got a catch here on the sideline for Chris Drake. So Kentucky Tech's starting to move the football a little bit. They're up past the 50-yard line. 2nd and 6, gets that first down to Michael Bingham. That's a 7-yard catch. 3rd and 5 now. Currington drops back. He's got Matt Evans for a 4-yard reception, so it's not going to be good enough for first down yet again. They have to call on the kicker again, and this time he will punch it through. So we kind of have an idea about this kicker's range, and that will come into play later on. And then look at this pass down the sideline. I apologize for the disconnection and the loading screen, little error pop up there, but Murphy's going to get picked off yet again, guys. That's 4 interceptions. Got 2 minutes and 25 seconds left when they snap this football. 2nd and 7, and they're going to pick up the first down. They're starting to try to wind the clock down here, guys. 2nd and 9 with 2:16 left to go. That's a huge completion for the Blue Bats as Gerald Sneed makes that catch. Gamu calls a timeout. 2:09 ticking down, and Currington's going to get sacked for 7-yard loss. It's going to force 2nd and 17. Gamu uses their last timeout. Got to pick up yards here, guys, because you got to get a manageable 3rd down to try to keep moving the chains here. Tayshawn Rivers gets this catch on the flare route. Only going to get 2 yards on that play, but they call a hurry-up offense? Not sure what they're doing here. You want to kill as much clock as you can. 30 seconds on the play clock. Winds all the way down. 25, 24, 23. So you want to run this play clock all the way down till maybe at least 1 second left. But normally the CPU runs it down to 3 seconds and then snaps it. So little heads up there to you guys that are still playing NCAA Football 14. So let's see if they snap it at 3 seconds. They actually snap it at 2 seconds. So a little hint for you guys that are still playing it. Tayshawn Rivers makes this catch for 10 yards, but he runs out of bounds. It's going to stop the clock. With 1:17 left to go, the kicker comes on. He's going to miss this field goal wide right. He's going to miss it again. So that gives Georgia A&M another chance to come back and tie this football game with 1 minute left, 33 seconds now. Unbelievable, guys. Paxton Murphy steps up, makes this throw. It's going to be caught by Sebastian Sessions for 19 yards. 2nd and 5, 20 seconds left. He's going to get sacked. So good job there to force the sack. Murphy, 3rd and 13. They're forced to spike the football here. 6 seconds left. 4th and 13. They're definitely within field goal range. I don't know what happened there, but, Blue Bats are calling a timeout, trying to freeze their kicker. he's missed a few times, right? And so has Kentucky Tech's kicker. So hopefully this does not go through. Georgia A&M's kicker kicks it up, and it's going to be good. He's got room to spare. So we are going to overtime, guys. 16-16. I'm going to attribute it to Tayshaun Rivers running out of bounds right there. Like, he shouldn't have done that. He should have just stayed in bounds as much as he could to try to kill that clock. So in my opinion, guys, Kentucky Tech really blew this game, at least in regulation. You guys will have to see what happens here in overtime, but just letting you know how I feel. Like, that should have been won in regulation. Kentucky Tech had the lead. They had about a minute left to go. If Rivers stays in bounds, it's 40 seconds from 117 that gets run off. So really puts Georgia A&M in a bind to try to get down the field into field goal position. This game should have been won by Kentucky Tech. There's no reason that it needs to be in overtime. Currington tries to scramble to get some yards, but it's going to get dropped. It was 2nd and 2, now 3rd and 5. Currington drops back and another incompletion. So Georgia A&M steps up big on defense. They hold Kentucky Tech's offense to a field goal attempt. Now, if they kick this field goal and it's good, A&M can win it with a touchdown or tie it with a field goal. We go to double overtime, and the kick is up, and it is no good. So Kentucky Tech's kicker misses again. And look at this. Could have been an interception. DeMarcus Cannon can't believe it. He cannot believe he dropped that football. That would have sent them to double overtime, but instead they're still in field goal position. And now it's a chip shot now because Barry Goodlow makes this catch for 7 yards. Murphy dropping back, and he finds Lamar Moore there down the sideline on the little flare route for 1 yard. So it's going to be 4th and 2 with a chance to win the game for Georgia A&M, those lucky sons of guns. Like I said, guys, Kentucky Tech had this football game won. They got to force a miss. Georgia A&M's kicker kicks it up, and it is good. Guys, Kentucky Tech fans, I can hear you guys now. I can see, well, I can't hear you, but I can see you in the comments below. You guys are angry. You guys are starting to understand my frustration with Georgia A&M and how lucky these guys get. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Paxton Murphy can throw 4 interceptions with a possibly 5 interception game, and it's just dropped. Tayshaun Rivers doesn't stay in bounds when he normally would. Gives Georgia A&M a minute left to drive down the field. So I don't know, guys. Georgia A&M, they keep rolling. They keep rolling, and the Blue Bats drop a heartbreaker here. They got to hope Gallatin loses. They got to hope the Drakes lose, because this game here really might have cost them, a American North championship for sure. You guys can see on the simulation here on the screen, we got Greenville and Carolina Atlantic. Huge game for both of these teams. What's going to happen? Carolina Atlantic takes the W, 20-16. So now Greenville finds themselves in 2nd place behind Georgia A&M, because Georgia A&M won that game against Kentucky Tech. That puts them at 9-2. Greenville's 8-3. So in the South, we've got a sticky situation here between top teams here, 1 and 2. As we look at the North, here's the North situation. We have a 3-way, what looks to be like kind of a 3-way tie here. Carolina Atlantic, with that win, goes to 8-3. Gallatin still has left to play. So if Gallatin wins against Scranton, which most likely they will be 9-2, which will put them into 1st place. If they do that, which they're likely to, Carolina Atlantic and Kentucky Tech play next week in the last game of the season. Kentucky Tech, for all intents and purposes, is out. They're eliminated. Even if they win against Carolina Atlantic, all that does is it spoils Carolina Atlantic's hopes at possibly winning the conference, this division for the North. So Gallatin needs to win today, and they need Kentucky Tech to beat Carolina Atlantic next week if they want to, for sure, no issues, nothing left to worry about for them to claim the American North. If Gallatin beats Scranton and then they lose to Clarksville next week, Carolina Atlantic still has a chance to win the North if they beat Kentucky Tech in the last week of the season. So I hope you guys followed that. It's pretty confusing, but it makes sense if you guys really just rewind it and look back at what I was talking about. But yeah, I mean, guys, this is a huge race in the north, but pretty much Gallatin has to just take care of their business, really just win both games here against Clarksville and Scranton State, and they're pretty much in, regardless of what happens to Kentucky Tech and Carolina Atlantic. So if we look at the South now, the interesting story about the South is that the last game of the season is between Georgia A&M and Greenville. So whoever wins that football game is going to go to the championship. So you might be asking, how, if Greenville wins this game, how are they gonna make it? Well, it would, because they would win the head-to-head. They would be tied in record. They'd be tied in conference record. And then they'd own the head-to-head between A&M and Greenville. So Greenville has to win next week. That just has to happen. That loss against Carolina Atlantic really hurt them in this situation. Otherwise, had they won, they still, well, I take that back, because they still would have had to win against Georgia A&M, even if they had won against Carolina Atlantic this week. So the loss, I guess, didn't really hurt them that much. It's still a situation where it's win and you're in for Greenville. So Georgia A&M looking to, stay lucky. I kind of like Greenville in this matchup. I don't know how you guys feel. As you guys can see, the week number 14 matchups here. So we got some good ones. Cape Coral at Daytona State. I like myself. Clarksville at Gallatin. That's a huge game for Gallatin, but they got to beat Scranton State first. First things first, right? Charleston State at Fort Lauderdale. I'm going to take Fort Lauderdale. Kentucky Tech at Carolina Atlantic. That's a tough one, guys. That's a tough one. I'm going to go with Carolina Atlantic, though. Ohio Western at Scranton. I'll take Ohio Western. And then Greenville at Georgia A&M. Oh, my God. What do you guys think? Post in the comments below. Are you excited about the last week of the season? Because I know it's about to be a barn burner for sure. We're going into the stretch run for sure. All right, let's get going here with Scranton State against Gallatin. Corey Summers still running that same old triple option, read option, scramble to the right, just rinky-dink, dink-and-dunk type of stuff here. Aries right with a nice catch on the hitch route for 13 yards. This game right here seems like Gallatin's already in control. I mean, Scranton State's obviously not that good in the first place, but yeah, guys, like this one might be a blowout. I'm just gonna call it right here and right now for sure. Summers dropping back. Oh, what do you know? He's rolling out here. He's trying to find something. He's got Jupiter Wells, and Jupiter, he's trying to jump over his man there, unable to do so. 1st and 10, Summers dropping back. He's got Aries right, and he's going to dive in for the touchdown. Guys, that was too easy. That was way too easy. Corey Summers, 4 of 5 for 54 and a TD. Noah Abbott, Darnell Dillard, and Scranton State offense out on the field here. Going to get a 7-yard rush for Darnell Dillard. He's got 1,100 rushing yards, guys, so he's one of the top rushers in the American Conference. And then we see a drop here, so Noah Abbott's receivers are not helping him out one bit. But the defense could possibly help Scranton State out here a little bit, but not in this play, as Byron Smalls is going to make this catch for a deep gain. Aries right going to make a contested catch there for 15 yards. So, guys, Summers in the offense for Gallatin just pounding it against Scranton State. Keyshawn Sharp with an 11-yard catch there, and then Summers rolling out to the right, and he's going to get picked off. This is what I'm talking about, guys. If Scranton State's defense can step up and make big plays for them, they can shut down Gallatin. They can do it. They just got to play sound, got to play smart, got to bait Corey Summers into making those throws, because he's made those throws all year long. Those weird throws where he's rolling out. He's had some interceptions on those. So if they can force him to do stuff like that and get him inaccurate, that's the key to winning this football game. But Noah Abbott got to be a little bit more accurate than that. 3 of 6 for 9 yards, guys. So not the good for Mr. Noah Abbott. Crispin McKinney checks in, and this pass is going to be complete to Travis Monahan. The play was reviewed, but it will be completed, And McKinney is going to roll out, and look at that throw. Look at that throw to Byron Smalls. That's a great throw. Crispin McKinney, guys, he's just going to be the playmaker for this offense. And look at that. No one's covering McKinney, and he's going to dive in for a 15-yard touchdown. It's now 14-0 in the second quarter. I mean, this guy's got speed. He's got the wherewithal. He's just a playmaker, guys. And I talk about it constantly about Crispin McKinney, but he might get some talk for winning the job next season. I kind of wish my brother was here to commentate with me on this, to try to talk about where McKinney stands in the quarterback battle for well, do we want to even, we can't even say 2018. This would be, you can't even use years. This would be 2015, right? So next season for this would be 2015. 21-0 after that touchdown, and then Byron Smalls makes this catch for a big gain, 25 yards. Actually, if you guys think about it, it would be 2018 since we are using well, that would be 27. I'm just confusing myself, guys. Sorry. Crispin McKinney. Nope, that's Corey Summers. I'm confusing myself even more. This quarterback flip-flop, and McKinney now checks in here, hands it off to Jupiter Wells. It's now 28-0, and then that big sack on Noah Abbott right there for 5-yard loss. Like, man, this has just been a blowout on their own turf, guys. So Reeves trying to get the sack here. He puts a lot of pressure on the offensive line. Look at Darnell Dillard busting off tackles. 10-yard reception, going to make it 4th and 2. So Summers in the offense, driving back down the field. He's going to find Houston McNamee for a 10-yard gain there. 1st and 10 now. Time is starting to tick away here, 25 seconds. Summers rolling out, trying to find something. He's got a little jukey move there, and he's going to fumble the football, but he's going to recover it. His offensive lineman will recover it. They call a timeout to try to get at least another play in. Summers dropping back, and he's got Troy Allen Baxter. Never called that guy's name all season long, so he might be the backup tight end to Byron Smalls. I love these names, guys. So 35-0, and then some super sim action here, and Noah Abbott is intercepted. Go figure. The game was pretty much over at this point, so I don't blame him for trying to super sim it. Yeah, 35-0, just trying to get the game over with, trying to get the gameplay recorded and done, and really just put out there for you guys. The subs are coming out. The subs are going to come out. The second team offense and defense for sure. Probably after this score. Summers is in. Still 2nd and 4, and Travis Monahan gonna pound it in there for a touchdown, a 6-yarder, 350+ yards of total offense in the third quarter, guys. Crispin McKinney rolling out to the right, and he's got, who is that? We can't tell who that is, but it will be reviewed, and the play will stand, so it is a catch. I don't know why they couldn't just give Scranton State a little bit of a break and say it wasn't a catch. They need all the help they can get right now. 42-3, they ended up kicking a field goal, getting some points on the board. Jarrett Jordan checks in at quarterback, and then this guy, you guys haven't heard this guy's name before, Sebastian Marks, 13-yard rush there. So the third-string running back now getting some love here as Marks gets for 5 yards there, so it's going to be 3rd and goal, and a little bit of a read option, and Jarrett Jordan trying to get into the end zone, falls a little bit short, 1 yard short. Kicker comes on, that's Cordova. He's going to punch it through 45-3, so this game is pretty much over, guys. 11 seconds left. Noah Abbott looking for a man. He's got one. That will be a touchdown, so it's bonus points, right? It's a little bonus points, little lipstick on the pig, I guess you'd call it. But Gallatin, wow, did they just take it to Scranton State in this one, guys? Huge win. That's probably their biggest blowout on the season. They do have a really good offense, a very balanced run, pass, very balanced offense, but that was an absolute shellacking. So Scranton State's just got to regroup. They got to figure out a way to get better, through if that's recruiting or just training, whatever it is, guys, it's got to be better than that performance for sure. So, guys, just to kind of rehash what we had just talked about for week number 14, it's a huge, huge week. Gallatin is now in first place after that blowout win over Scranton State. But now the situation for them is they got to beat Clarksville. If Clarksville beats them and Carolina Atlantic wins, Carolina Atlantic is going to win the North Conference. And whatever happens with Greenville and Georgia A&M, whoever wins that is going to face off against Gallatin or Carolina Atlantic. So you guys now know who the top teams are and what the potential conference championship game will look like. So with that, guys, I will see you next week with really, really big games here coming up. So, guys, like it, love it, want more of it. You know what to do. If you're new here, hit that red button for a subscribe or my logo, and I will see you guys in the next one. And don't forget, guys, to leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know what you guys are thinking about this Dynasty mode and what you would like to see happen as a conference championship game. So I will see you guys next time, and happy Saturday, and I hope you guys had a happy Thanksgiving as well. And again, guys, I will see you next Saturday. So, as always, peace.